Have you ever noticed how some people light up when they talk about having kids, while others freeze, go silent, or say, "Not for me"? It's strange, isn't it? Two people can grow up in the same society, hear the same expectations, and watch the same families around them. Yet one dreams of becoming a parent, and the other dreams of anything but that. Here's what most people don't understand. Choosing not to have children isn't always about selfishness, fear, or immaturity. There is a psychology behind it, a deep one, and once you understand it, everything starts to make sense. And before we go further, here's a thought. Most people don't actually choose to become parents. They just follow the path society told them to walk. But the ones who choose not to, they usually think more deeply than anyone expects. Let's go inside their minds. Part 1. The freedom seekers, the ones who value identity over expectations. People who don't want children often get judged for the same reason. They think more clearly. They know what they want their life to look like. These are the people whose identity is not built around traditional milestones. They don't daydream about family photos, birthday parties, or holding a baby. Instead, their imagination goes to different cities, different careers, creative projects, personal freedom, a life lived on their own terms. And here's the key. They aren't running away from responsibility. They're running towards themselves. Psychologically, these people score high in heavy checkmark openness to experience, heavy checkmark autonomy, heavy checkmark self-determination, heavy checkmark future planning. Many of them grew up watching parents lose themselves. The mother who didn't chase her dreams. The father who worked nonstop. The couple who forgot who they were outside, mom and dad. They see that, and something inside says, "I don't want to disappear like that." And society calls them selfish, but in reality, they're just not willing to live a life that doesn't feel like theirs. Because for them, freedom isn't a luxury. It's oxygen. Another group refuses to have children for a reason society rarely respects. They understand the weight of emotional inheritance. These are the ones who grew up in households where love wasn't simple, where mistakes were punished, where emotions were unsafe, where childhood didn't feel like childhood. They carry this belief, "I'll never put someone through what I went through." And this is important, not because they fear becoming bad parents, but because they know how easily pain passes from one generation to the next. Psychology calls this intergenerational trauma awareness. It means being conscious that patterns repeat, wounds echo, childhood shapes adulthood, unresolved pain becomes tomorrow's burden. These people aren't avoiding children because they're afraid. They're avoiding children because they're wise. They've felt emotional damage firsthand. They've watched families break. They've lived through conflict, neglect, abandonment, or emotional instability. And instead of pretending it didn't shape them, they face it. So when someone asks, "Why don't you want kids?" what the trauma-aware want to say is, "Because I take parenthood more seriously than you ever will." They're not irresponsible. They're responsible enough to admit what so many ignore. Part 3. The ultra-realists, the ones who see life without filters. This group looks at life without romanticizing it. They don't follow the Disney version of parenting. They follow the real one. They think logically, not emotionally. And their mind goes like this. Kids are expensive. Parenting is stressful. Our world is unstable. Time is limited. Peace is valuable. They see the costs, not just financially, but mentally. They think about sleep deprivation, financial pressure, emotional complexity, lifestyle sacrifices, the unpredictability of raising a human, and they ask themselves, does this align with the life I want? Most people don't ask that question. They follow expectations blindly, but ultra-realists refuse to. They have high levels of heavy checkmark critical thinking, heavy checkmark long-term planning, heavy checkmark emotional stability, heavy checkmark risk awareness. And here's the truth. Being able to say no to an expected life path isn't weakness. It's emotional strength. It takes courage to walk away from a path everyone else blindly follows. These people don't avoid children because they dislike them. In fact, many of them love kids. But they understand something others ignore. Parenting requires emotional energy, and they know exactly how much they have to give. Some people simply have less emotional bandwidth. Not because they're broken, but because they understand themselves well. They know their tolerance, their stress reactions, their mental limits, their emotional rhythms, the kind of life that keeps them balanced, and they accept something most people deny. I'm not built for this role, and that's okay. Self-awareness is rare. Most people lie to themselves just to fit into society. But the self-aware take a different path. I'd rather be a whole person alone than a drained parent resentful of my own life. These are the people who refuse to bring a child into the world unless they can give them stability, love, patience, time, emotional presence, and if they can't give that, they don't have kids. Not because they don't care, but because they care too much. The truth, most people don't like TOHAR. People without children aren't incomplete. They're not missing anything. They're not living half a life. What they are doing is making a choice based on clarity, self-awareness, emotional intelligence, realistic thinking, personal freedom, honest reflection, and that makes them braver than society admits. Because the truth is simple, asterisk, asterisk, some people become parents because it's expected. Some people don't because they think deeply. Asterisk, asterisk, both paths require courage. But choosing a path different from the majority? That takes a special kind of strength. So the next time you hear someone say, I don't want kids, don't judge them, don't label them, don't assume they're selfish. Instead, try something new. Ask them why. You might discover a depth of honesty society rarely teaches.